In today's video, I have 12 tips for you if you want to loosen up your painting, and these are really practical advice that I have that you can apply straight away and just loosen things up a bit. First tip I have for you is to use big brushes, and I know this isn't a big brush, this is size 10 brush, but this is the smallest brush I normally use in a painting. I also have whole selection. This is just like 3 that I grabbed straight away. This is an inch, this is a 2-inch brush, and this is a very large, it's almost like a makeup brush. You can do your blushes like that. Why bigger brushes? Because it gives you less control. If you use tiny little brushes, you're gonna do tiny little detail, and that means the painting is gonna get really tight. So try challenging yourself to use the biggest brush that you can get away with, because that way you're always gonna have this looser, much more open, much more chilled feeling to your paint. Next tip is to hold the brush at the top. I normally hold my brush here where the ferrule and this is the ferrule and the handle meets. But if I want to loosen up, or I just want to add more energy to the painting, I will hold it right at the top. And what this will do is it will give you less control, and that's a good thing. Loosening up painting is all about you not having control anymore. So when you paint like this, it just adds more energy. So I tend to use this technique a lot when I'm finishing off a painting and it's a little bit bland, and I need more energy and pizzazz. Then a dark color on a brush and just do this will give it so much looser and more energetic feel to a painting. Third tip I have for you is to not put down outlines, or at least keep it to the very bare minimum if you absolutely have to. I paint abstract, so I don't need outlines anyway, but that is the key to looser paintings. Looser means it's not so well defined, it's not perfectly proportioned, the perspective isn't right, the shapes and the sizes are off. That's what loose painting means. So if you go there with a tight sketch, you're always going to be attached to that tight sketch. Whereas if you go in there, just start painting, then you are going to have a lively feeling to it, and it's more organic, and that's what we want for a loose painting. So yeah, try. I know it's going to be scary, it's going to be hard, but try painting things without using an outline. Next tip is to blend colors on paper rather than on the palette. When we blend colors on a palette first, then put it on paper, it's very well mixed, very homogenized color, and it's a bit flat and it's a bit blah. Whereas if you mix your color on paper, so you put one color down, then the next color, and you mix it on paper, the 2 colors meld and bleed into each other, and it again is about you not having control and the paint having the control, and it will create much looser look that is also more textured and more lively than a flat, well mixed color. My 5th tip is to paint in layers even when you don't need to. So let's say I'm painting a house and I could just put one layer of paint down that paints that house and then put some details. But instead what I do sometimes is to put more layers down so that the outline gets looser. You're not going to get straight edge all the time. You shouldn't be trying to go for straight edge when you're trying to loosen up anyway. But as you layer, the colors blend, the edges blur more, and there's multiple lines happening. It's way looser. So sometimes I go out of my way to do lighter coats of paint, lighter layers, so that I can do several layers rather than just trying to get it tight in one go. The 6th tip, and I would say the theme of this video, is basically big and wet and explore. I know that sounds dodgy, but let's hope I don't get demonetized. If you want to loosen up, just put more water either on your brush or on paper first, so you can let colors bleed into stuff and just do its own thing. Because at the end of the day, that's the beauty of watercolor, is how it disperses and it just has a mind of its own. And that's fun, and that's why we pick watercolor over, say, like oil or acrylic, where things don't bleed in as much. They do a little bit, but not as much. Seventh tip is, again, going back to water, dripping is good. Dripping wet brushes, drips down the paper and stuff, they all add to the loose feeling. If you search for images that you like that have loose feeling, some of them will have like paint dripping down, splatters of paint everywhere. That's what creates the feeling of liveliness and looseness. So more water, let's just dribble that water down the paper and stuff, and it will instantly loosen up your painting. My eighth tip is to use texture adding techniques that aren't brushes. I have a video for you up here. I actually have two videos on adding textures, but the ones I really want to highlight are things like the cling film and the baking sheet technique that are, I think, in the advanced watercolor adding texture video, or whatever I've titled it. It was a really long time ago. I don't remember the title, but I will link it up here. And those are great because, again, it's about giving the material control rather than you. So a cling film will crumple up in a way that you can't find any control. And same with the baking sheet, it will react and do this wavy thing on its own with you not in the picture, basically. And that's how we get looser painting. So definitely use tools that takes away that control from you and gives it to the material you're using. My next tip is to use tools other than brushes, just in general, to put down paint. So it could be your finger, it could be like a twig. Twig is an amazing paintbrush. It creates really interesting lines. If you've never painted lines with twigs, please go outside, please go and get a twig. It's a good time for getting twigs, and try it, because it will change how loose your paintings will be. But anything else you can think of, sponges, tissues, kitchen towels, anything, use it, see how you like it, even a card, just anything. If it can hold paint, or even if it can't, dip it in paint, go on paper, see what it looks like. You can even use plants to paint with. So just have fun, explore, because that again is taking control away from how you create the lines and having a conversation and a collaboration with the materials you are using. The 10th tip I have for you is to add splatters. No matter where you are in the stage of your painting, if you add splatters, it will instantly loosen up and it will have a casual, sketchy feel to it. And so splatters, just loads of paint on a brush and just splatter away on your finger, or just go like that if you want more energetic. Try lots of different splatter techniques. You can even do it like this for finer splatters. Splatters, like I see so many artists use this technique just to jazz it up a bit and make it feel looser. So when in doubt, splatter away. My 11th tip for you is to paint several paintings at once, probably of the same theme. I do this all the time, and the reason why I do it is so that I don't become attached to just one painting. It's very easy to try and do one painting exactly right, and because of the nature of watercolor, for being what it is, which is that it doesn't want to listen to what you want it to do, it's much better. It's better for your emotions. It's better for loosening up if you do several at once, with the aim in mind to pick the best ones at the end. And what that does is take huge pressure off your shoulder. You can just play around, because play is incredibly important in loosening up paintings. If you are pressured to get something right, then obviously your muscles are going to tighten, your body's going to tighten, and your lines are going to get really tight, and your paintings are going to get tight. So if you just take that pressure off you, paint a few, try a few different things, then you will come up with, you know, at least one or two or even more paintings that you're really happy with that feel much looser. And the final tip I have for you is kind of more of a mindset, which is to see the painting process as you exploring what the materials can do. I've been saying this over and over in this video already. See what the materials can do, give the materials more control and take away your control of the painting if you want to loosen up your painting, because the watercolors will do their thing on its own if you let it. That will create beautiful color blends and textures and stuff. That's so much fun, and it will feel looser and more natural and organic, which I think is what you're going for when you are going for looser paintings. That's it for this video. I hope the tips were useful to you. If you found any of them particularly useful, please leave a comment down below on which ones you liked the most. If you have advice on how to loosen up paintings also, then leave a comment down below, because it will be great to collect our community's knowledge on how to loosen up, because this is just my personal view and my personal attitude on how to loosen up painting, whereas other people will have others, and maybe we can do a part 2 if we get enough tips, so that will be awesome. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.